What if I told you that the spare change sitting in your pocket right now could turn into $500,000? Not a typo. $500,000. And all it would take is just $5 a day. That's less than the price of a fancy coffee, less than a fast food combo meal, less than most people spend without even thinking twice. And yet, this tiny, almost invisible habit could completely rewrite your financial future. Hey everyone, this is Ron. And if you are new here, welcome to the channel where we break down money, investing, and building real wealth in a way that actually makes sense. Before we dive in, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, because trust me, by the end of this video, you are going to want to come back for more. Today we're doing something different. We're going to walk through exactly what your life could look like, financially, if you committed to investing just $5 every single day. Not 500, not 5,000, just $5. Sound too small to matter? Stick around because the numbers are about to blow your mind. Let's start with the obvious question. Why $5? Well, because $5 is a number almost anyone can find. It's not a stretch. It's not a sacrifice that ruins your lifestyle. It's the kind of money most of us lose track of every single day, on a snack, a subscription we forgot about, or a coffee run. $5 feels small. And that's exactly why this strategy works. Small, repeatable actions done consistently are far more powerful than big, one-time efforts that fizzle out after a month. Here's the thing about money that most people never truly grasp until it's almost too late. Money doesn't grow because you throw a huge amount at it once. Money grows because of time and because of consistency. Investing $5 a day isn't about the $5. It's about what that $5 becomes when you give it years and years and years to work. So let's do the math. $5 a day comes out to roughly $150 a month. Over a full year, that's about $1,825. On its own, that might not sound life-changing, but we're not talking about stuffing this money under your mattress. We're talking about investing it, consistently, into something like a low-cost index fund that tracks the overall stock market. The same kind of fund that has historically returned around 8% per year on average, over long stretches of time. Now here's where it gets interesting. Let's say you start investing $5 a day, every single day into that kind of fund, and you let it grow, uninterrupted, for 10 years. Based on an average 8% annual return, you would end up with approximately $27,400. Now pause on that for a second. You would have personally put in about $18,250 over that decade. But because your money was growing the entire time, earning returns on top of returns, you'd walk away with over $27,000. That's the magic of compound growth, and we've barely even started. Let's push it further. What if you kept going for 20 years? Same $5 a day, same consistency, same average 8% return. At the 20-year mark, your account could be sitting at approximately $88,000. Your total contributions over those 20 years would only be around $36,500. That means more than half of your final balance, more than half, came purely from growth, from your money working for you while you were living your life, going to work, spending time with family, probably not even thinking about that $5 a day anymore. Now let's talk about 30 years, because this is where things start to feel almost unreal. Same $5 a day, invested consistently, growing at that same average 8% annual return. After 30 years, your investment could grow to approximately $223,500. Let that sink in. $223,000, built from a habit smaller than most people's daily lunch budget. Your total contributions by this point would only be around $54,750. Everything else, nearly 75% of that final number, is pure growth. Pure compound interest doing exactly what it's designed to do. And now, the number that started this whole video. What happens after 40 years? 40 years might sound like a long time, but if you start investing $5 a day in your 20s, you're only looking at your early to mid-60s, a totally normal retirement timeline. After 40 years of consistent $5 daily investing, at that same average 8% return, your account could be worth approximately $523,800. Over $500,000, from $5 a day. Your actual contributions over those 40 years would total around $73,000. That means almost $450,000. The vast majority of your final balance came entirely from growth. This is the part people miss when they say investing doesn't matter unless you have a lot of money to start with. It's not about how much you start with, it's about how long you let it grow and how consistent you are. Time is doing almost all of the heavy lifting here, not you. Not some genius stock pick, just time, patience, and a small, boring, repeatable habit. Let's put this into real-life perspective. Think about how you actually spend $5 in a normal day. Maybe it's a specialty coffee on your way to work. Maybe it's a snack from the vending machine, or a delivery fee tacked onto an order you didn't need. Maybe it's $5 of extra spending on an app you forgot you were subscribed to. None of these choices feel significant in the moment. That's exactly the danger and exactly the opportunity. If $5 can disappear that easily without you noticing, it can also be redirected that easily without you really feeling it. Now, let's talk about how you would actually do this in real life, because understanding the math is one thing, but actually putting it into practice is what separates people who watch videos like this and forget about them from people who actually change their financial future. Step 1. Open a brokerage account. There are plenty of platforms today that let you start investing with very little money, no minimums, and low or zero commission fees. This removes the old excuse that investing is only for people with thousands of dollars sitting around. Step 2. Choose a simple, low-cost, diversified investment. For most beginners, this usually means a broad market index fund or exchange-traded fund, something that tracks hundreds of companies at once, instead of betting everything on a single stock. This is what gives you exposure to that long-term historical average return we've been talking about, without needing to be a stock-picking expert. Step 3. Automate it. This is the single most important step in this entire video. Set up an automatic transfer, daily, weekly, or monthly, whatever fits your bank's system, so that your $5 a day moves into your investment account without you having to think about it, remember it, or talk yourself out of it. Automation removes emotion from the equation. And emotion is usually what destroys good financial habits. Step 4. Do not touch it. This sounds simple, but it's the hardest part for most people. The entire power of this strategy comes from letting your money sit, untouched, growing, compounding, year after year. Every time you pull money out early, you're not just losing that amount, you're losing everything that amount would have grown into over the following years and decades. 10 years from now, that $5 you're tempted to pull out today could be worth 2, 3, 4 times as much. Let it work. Now let's address the objections some of you are probably thinking right now. What about market crashes? What about years where the market goes down instead of up? This is a completely fair question, and the honest answer is yes, the stock market does not go up in a smooth, straight line. There are years of gains, and there are years of losses. But here's what history has consistently shown us. Over long periods of time, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years or more, the overall trend of a broad, diversified market fund has been upward. Short-term drops have historically been followed by longer-term recoveries and growth. This is exactly why time in the market matters so much more than trying to perfectly time the market. When you're investing consistently over decades, temporary dips become far less scary because you have time on your side to recover and keep growing. Let's also talk about something people rarely mention in these videos, the psychological shift that happens when you start this kind of habit. When you commit to investing $5 a day, you start paying attention to your spending in a completely different way. You start asking yourself, is this $5 purchase worth more to me today, or is it worth more to my future self, multiplied many times over, decades from now? That single question, repeated daily, can quietly transform your entire relationship with money. It's not about depriving yourself. It's about becoming intentional, instead of automatic, with your spending. Now, some of you might be thinking, $5 a day is easy for me, I could actually do more. And that's fantastic, because everything we just walked through becomes even more powerful if you increase that daily amount over time. Imagine starting at $5 a day in your 20s and gradually increasing it to $10 a day or $15 a day as your income grows throughout your career. The end results we calculated today, that $523,000 figure over 40 years, could easily double or triple with even modest increases along the way. $5 a day isn't a ceiling, it's a starting point, a foundation you can build on as your life and your income evolve. On the flip side, if $5 a day still feels intimidating right now, that's okay too. The point of this video isn't to pressure you into a specific number. The point is to show you what consistency and time can actually do so that whatever amount you choose to start with, even if it's smaller, even if it's just $1 a day to start, you understand the incredible power behind starting today, instead of waiting for the perfect moment that may never come. Because here's the truth most people don't want to hear. The biggest cost in investing isn't a market crash. It isn't a bad year. It isn't even picking the wrong fund. The biggest cost is waiting. Every single year you delay starting this habit, you are not just missing out on that year's contribution. You're missing out on decades of compound growth that contribution would have generated. Someone who starts investing $5 a day at age 25 will, in almost every realistic scenario, end up with dramatically more money than someone who starts investing $10 a day at age 35, simply because of how much more time that money had to grow. So if there's one thing I want you to take away from everything we've covered today, it's this. You do not need to be rich to build wealth. You do not need a six-figure salary or some secret stock tip or perfect timing. You need consistency, patience, and a willingness to start small and let time do what it does best. $5 a day is proof that wealth building isn't reserved for a select few. It's available to almost anyone willing to commit to it. So let's bring it all together. $5 a day. That's it. That's the entire strategy we just spent the last several minutes breaking down. 10 years, and you could be looking at around $27,000. 20 years, close to $88,000. 30 years, over $223,000. And 40 years, more than $500,000 from a habit smaller than most people's daily coffee order. This is the power of starting small, staying consistent, and letting time and compound growth do the heavy lifting for you. Your life, 5, 10, 20, 40 years from now, is being shaped by the financial decisions you make today, even the tiny ones. If this video gave you a new perspective on what small, consistent investing can really do, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and drop a comment letting me know. Would you actually try this $5 a day challenge? I read every single one. This is Ron, and I'll see you in the next video. Until then, keep building, keep investing, and keep believing that your future is worth $5 a day.